Hello and welcome to the, access and everything else. Now, I do have to admit, we did lose quite a bit of footage. Not footage, I say, but essentially what happened is that my microphone pretty much just capped out. And I think it has to do with the diaphragm sort of like cracking or breaking or something like that. However, anything I said was extremely loud, crackly, and pretty much unintelligible, so all this now is being recorded in post. However, to make it a bit less boring, because I won't be able to talk about that much in all honesty, I have sped up the video by 1.3, which makes it exactly 15 minutes long. Hooray for editing. Anyway, what we decided here was now that we have a reasonably stable front on the east and the west, we're going to try and essentially push our western front, and we've decided that Egypt, exactly Egypt, is just about right for what we want. Now here I'm just cutting off some of the extra units we have defending some of these ports and to add them to different units, making things a lot more easier, and well, more units is always more units. I mean, why not, right? However, now that we have France as pretty much encircled, we're just going to maintain that and continue pressing inwards. Not sure yet if I want to put music behind this or not. Probably would be better. Oop. I don't even know myself what I was doing there. That's something I've realized watching my own videos, and I definitely forget which button to press and where which tab is, which is something you've probably realized yourself. Here I was discussing which victory points are, with the capital of course being 5 victory points, and surprisingly there's 2 3-point victory points, one in Makassar and one on the eastern side of Java. So we were deciding, alright, fine, time to perhaps invade. Bad idea on my part, as we'll see later on. However, for now, let us finish our conquest of Vietnam. The French, however much they may try with their high-tech tanks, are no use for infantry. Doesn't that sound like a different Vietnamese war we hear so much about? Involving the French, I mean, not the Americans. The Americans, sure, they had one, but, I mean, come on. Tanks? I'm also drinking sparkling water, so that's the weird fuzzing noise in the background if you do even hear it. Don't really know myself, if you can. However, let's see what's happening here. Yes, Germany for some reason owns this land, and it was pretty pissing me off just the entire time I was playing this game. But hey, sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Paradox, please fix. Paradox, please fix so much in this game. Later on we'll see other things that go terribly wrong and I have very little to do with. However, for now we can watch my own mistakes of not using my spy sub to figure out what is actually happening on both Sumatra and Java, and as a result we'll see my absolute failure. For now I'm actually waiting for the person in Kota Baru to move south and essentially vacate the premises, which is something the AI loves to do. However, on the Western Front, things are looking not terrible, but not exactly great either. As we can still see those forts I made a while ago, sitting down there, ready to be used in case it's necessary. If it does become necessary, well, that I can't tell you. After all, that would be too much of a spoiler. Oh my. Yes, those forts. Will they be needed? Never know. Anyway, I'm going to send this guy around and then back to a port so he keeps it nice and sterile of allies. And here we go. The guy in Kota Baru, as the AI loves to do, has decided, well, I think I can move away. And as a result, well, I move right in, right after. No problem whatsoever in that regard. Definitely no problem. Here we go, my lovely snaking pattern once again. Completely inefficient, but hey, it makes me able to look at other things in the meantime. Here we go, just making sure that we're repairing everything. Probably should have been more specific on what we want to repair and what we don't want to repair, but we can't do everything at once, so for now, let's watch our invasions of Java and Sumatra. Horsies, also enjoying a bit of snaking. It's still lovely seeing India under my... It's always so very nice. Heroes are checking, making sure that, yep, they are definitely part of a common turn. Goddamn bother that it is. And yes, that mess that is Eastern Europe, and the Germans already inside me. And with that I mean Belarus. This is something that will come up later again, and with much nuisance. Oh yes, and before you think that I could just try these games again, the amount of recording that was corrupted by the voice file, or the recording itself, well, 3.5 hours should about cut it. So I will not, and I repeat, I will definitely not try to record 3.5 hours of footage all over again. Anyway, watch this. Those Australian troops are going to land in Palembang just after I do. It's going to be very nice. Anyway, here we go, moving into Java just right after. Nice and easy. Anyhow, I decided to create a new snaking pattern because the last one was inefficient, and our prey from Kota Baru managed to get away, which is quite disappointing. Yep, here we are. The great Australian troops have landed, and here is our own attempt, caught off accidentally by some of the some of the Dutch troops. Damn nuisance that. However, so be it. And we continue our chasing. And once again, of course, there's an issue with, well, supplies suddenly do exist in places they really shouldn't. It's quite strange, that. It really is. Alas, there we go. Do some more snaking. We finished our nuclear effort. Lovely, I found that. Because, I mean, hey, it's nuclear. It's going to be a lot of fun in the future. Realize that I've done almost everything. Well done to me. Aviation? Maybe. I mean, but equipment, of course. Because we have no planes. We have no we don't have the industry to build planes, in all honesty. Anyway, we've cancelled our attack on the Australians, instead deciding that maybe we should move north. I'm sure we can manage that. In the meantime, this attack is going badly. The Dutch are reinforcing, and we've decided, screw it, we're going to go back to Kuching and try and reinforce ourselves. Meantime, France still getting pushed out, slowly but surely. That top right, we have another one of those lovely red crosses. Of course, this means that the Soviets are still trying to fabricate on Belarus. And luckily, that nothing ever happens with that. It usually, well, goes the other way around eventually. No, not that we fabricate, but some allies of ours that, for some reason, hate the Soviet Union. Well, they just decide it's time to go. So, that happens later on, by quite a bit, though. Or was it really that long? Can't remember now, because I only entered the war quite late, even though nothing much had changed in terms of borders because of a certain country I control, but because I never joined a war, the AI of the Axis was quite confused. Poor thing, to be honest. Oh well, frustration is running high as per usual. We still want to, you know, finish our invasion and all that, but it sort of doesn't really work. And here my snaking returns in its full glory. Soon France will disappear. Soon, but soon cannot come soon enough. However, we have reached the western border of Egypt, and we have locked in with Italy in the south. Italy, of course, in classic Italian fashion, runs away north as soon as we connect, making my life living hell. But, I mean, doesn't have to worry about that now, does it? Since they'll have left the area. My invasions, all failures. All either getting caught out or just not able to take any ports before they were intercepted by Allied troops. Or quite literally intercepted by the Royal Navy's battleship, which essentially blew my convoys out of the water. A damn shame that was. A damn shame indeed. And of course the French troops, I think they were French troops, they have full supply, of course, and they never do run out of supply. We just eventually crushed them with numbers. However, here comes my great idea. I'm going to build up all of India with military factories. And I tell you now, it works out quite terribly because I never get around to building them. We have them all queued up, but never really come around doing it. I don't have enough civilian factories for that, which is why I should have probably built more of those, but at the time I needed more and more equipment, so I never really thought about it too much. And we do gain more and more military factories simply from conquest as well, so in that regard, perhaps it wasn't that necessary after all. France almost kicked out of Vietnam now. Couldn't be much longer. But I always check back because, well, as we all know, things go up not well very quickly. Requesting forces from nationalist Belarus. Well, it doesn't really exist because they have no forces. Never really did build any forces until the very end of the game. Where they still didn't build any forces, I'm just saying until the end of the game they never built any forces. Goddamn nuisance that was, I can tell you that much right now. Because usually you can just request forces from your puppets and they're like, well, here you go, have another 10,000 troops. It gets really fun when you have like massive nations, say the Soviet Union or France, and you just get almost 60 or 100,000 troops just like that. It's quite useful, it really is. Still debating what to do with that one unit. Convoy completely destroyed, as we expected, considering a battleship. And I just realized that the same battleship had completely decimated my entire navy. My only now navy existing is the one that spawned in Egypt, and well, to be honest, this isn't very useful to me. So I said, alright, can I reorganize this so they actually spawn in the South China Sea? And I can. And they'll be spawning in South Vietnam now, which is quite a bit closer. The one that I sent from the west, though, does not make it east because it gets intercepted at one point by some random battleship again. Might even be the same one, I don't actually remember, to be honest. Well, let's see if I can get control of one of my states. Specifically looking for Singapore, of course, since that's the one they decided to be rude about and trying to steal half of it without actually asking me if I wanted him to. We do control 26% of the war participation. This gets a bit higher by the end of it, but for now, it's quite alright. I was a bit grumbly about it at the time, though. After all, it was my war. It was the war for Iraq, I think it was. I'm not actually sure. Quite sure it was Iraq, though. Now, what to do? That was my thought, and that was my thought for quite a while. A fun little game for you all to play is actually to look at the stockpile of convoys and how it slowly depletes itself over the next few episodes, and how I have absolutely no notice of it. It's quite fun. Until one point I do notice, and then it just gets boring because I just drop all my convoys, or should I say all my military factories, onto building convoys. However, I mean, hey, you do what you do. Until then, though, that's the end of this actual not campaign, but this is the end of this episode. I'll see you all next time. Hope you enjoyed. Until then.